Hi guys, this is Danny again. Did you know that Malaysia is voted one of the best places to retire in 2018? Now we're gonna look into the article, see how true is that. Hey, so this is the world best places to retire in 2018. This is the international livings since 1979. They wrote a lot of articles. They look into countries and they evaluate which countries is the best to retire, and not just looking into the cost of living, but there are other things. For example, visas. Like medicals, healthcare, something like that. So in 2018, obviously there are many countries. The top 10 would be Peru, low cost living, vibrant and diverse. And then the number 9, Spain, romance, history and charming villages. Nicaragua, best bang for your buck in Latin America. Number 7, Portugal, Europe best retirement heaven. Number 6, Colombia, sophisticated and affordable. And here comes number 5, Malaysia, easy, English speaking and first world. Well, it's true because I came back and I can see when I came back from the overseas, for many years ago, I did realize that the bank and a lot of even the government sector and the private sector, most of the people they speak English. To my surprise, they speak English. Well, before I left the country, a lot of people they still speak in Malay. Even nowadays, in restaurants, in the malls, most of them they speak English, which is a good thing. And then now we have to look into what makes Malaysia voted number 1. Yes, English, but particularly we're going to look into the property side of it. Yes, obviously we have a lot of other category, for example the healthcare and other category, but then we focus in the property, whether or not whatever the written here is true. Now have a look. So it says here, bang for the buck, Malaysia is hard to beat. For instance, renting category, for a reason in Kuala Lumpur a couple can live comfortably on 1,500 a month, so that would be somewhere around 6k 6k on average. In Kuala Lumpur, 6k if you were to live in the city center, yes, it's possible. Some of the condos and apartments in near KLCC, sometimes is between the range of 8,000 per month to 12,000 per month. But because of the expat, a lot of expats, due to the downturn in oil prices, the rental dropped a little bit. So we are talking about somewhere around 4k to 5k. So this is quite accurate, it's true, you can still get this. But in terms, since you're not buying the property anyway, so you can somehow to get the landed, which is landed, normally the yield for investors like us, the yield will be a little bit less. So I would reckon for landed property, say for example we have the normal double story landed 20 by 70, we can still get 3,000 for less than 3,000 3,000 ringgit can still get in the area. For example, in the Bandar Utama, where you can get a lot of amenities in the area. And then obviously if you want to, for example, it's written here, extravagantly on 2005. Yes, you can, because you can still live in a penthouse in KL area. If you for example, if you say like I said, if you want to get the landed, yes, you can too. And then 700 a month, you can rent a 2,000 square foot, a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment in Penang. This is also true, But Penang, the reason the difference between Penang and KL is that normally the KL property, although they are expensive, but they can demand for higher yield. Whereas in Penang, the property price, because the land is really scarce in Penang, and therefore the price for the property is really high. It's really expensive, almost something like in Singapore. It's not like as expensive as Singapore, but in terms of the ratio between the property price and the rental, in Penang Island particularly, you have the property price is much higher, but then again when it comes to the rental, it's much lower. So for this statement, if you were to get an apartment in Penang, yes, you can really get much lower property for something like this. So between the lower rental costs, lower utilities, yes, it's true. The rental cost is in KL, in Malaysia, is much cheaper to compare with other countries. For example, if you were to compare the cities like Hong Kong, Bangkok, Cambodia, Singapore, London, all these places, it's not even cheap, because we are talking about something like a room. If you were to talk about a room in London, a room measure at maybe less than 100 square foot, they are charging for 65 pounds per week. Now we are talking about 2004, 240 per week. That's zone 3, and that is zone 3. If you're talking about in zone 1, it's much more higher than that. And yes, if you compare with the property prices in Malaysia to compare with other countries, we are still quite cheap to compare with other countries. Even though if we compare with the countries like Cambodia, which is 20 years behind us, yes, our property, the property in KL area, maybe in tier 1, is still equivalent to their city. It's really weird. But then again, their demographic, their income level is quite the gap between the wealthy and the bottom really far apart. And obviously they have a little bit here, the graph. Okay, this is the chart that we have to look into, where buying, because we are number 5 in the top chart, buying and investing, we get 79. Okay, so it is true, because for foreign ownership, it depends on the states. For example, in KL, there's nothing less than 1 million. Okay, but in Selangor, it will be nothing less than 2 million. And if you say renting, I still think our rent is reasonable. Certain areas, and that you can get decent size, because in Malaysia we are still having the bigger size. We're not really into the nano size yet, the shoebox, for example, like in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a little bit extreme, but we haven't gone there yet. The price that we pay, we can still get a decent size of 1,000 and above square feet. So our property is still reasonable to own and also to rent. And obviously other things like visa and the cost of living is really better than any other countries. And also, why there are a lot of Chinese coming to Malaysia, one of the reasons is because they feel like home. I'm not saying that it is a home for them, but then again, the Chinese, when they come here, they will feel like home. Reason being because we speak, it's a multiracial country. We speak all of us, we speak at least 2 or 3 languages, at least bare minimum. We speak English, we speak Mandarin, we speak Cantonese, we speak Malay, we speak Tamil. So they, when they come, they can at least speak Mandarin, and also we have a lot of signboards that actually written in Chinese, and especially in terms of food, it's not much different. So that's a reason why Malaysia is one of the place that a lot of Chinese are really looking into to invest or to stay, and not to mention that a lot of foreigners from the Western countries, they also choose to retire in Malaysia, because we first thing, we speak English, and we have a very good food. And if they were to come and to retire but not planning to stay in KL or Penang because of a hectic or maybe too expensive, they might go to the second options, for example in Malacca and Ipoh. Ipoh is another place I personally think is quite good for the place to retire. So this is the thing I think it's good that Malaysia become the fifth place for the people to retire in 2018.
Now, once we look into the article, it seems like Malaysia indeed a place for the people to retire, and hopefully will become the #1 in the world for the people to retire. Until next time, see you guys.